Eagle 7 here, and in this video we're going to talk about our attitude hold to help us reduce our pilot workload and our out-of-ground effect hover to deploy our weapon system. So let's talk about the keybinds we're going to use. I've got them bound to my hat switch on my WinWing F-16 joystick. We're going to use force trim up, force trim down, force trim left, force trim right, and I also have a 5-way push on the hat, which I'll use for a trimmer reset. The other control we'll use is symbology select down and symbology select up. So let's fly out to the target area, enter an out-of-ground effect hover, engage our attitude hold mode, and see if we can reduce our workload and put some Hellfires on target. Here we go. Coming up. We'll take off. Symbology select. Up. Transition. We'll come to a heading of 223. Climb to 1,000 feet. And we'll go ahead and speed this up for you. Alright, as we come into the target area, we're going to want to enter our OGE hover. So we're going to slowly reduce the collective, anticipate a little right pedal. We can change our symbology select to hover mode. Maintaining directional control with anti-torque pedals. Half cyclic to reduce our airspeed. Using collective to maintain our altitude. We need to be below 5 knots to engage our attitude hover mode. Got a little bit of a wind out here. Our airspeed's coming in nicely. We'll go ahead and force trim left. We'll get a box around our airspeed. I should be able to take the hand off of collective once it's stabilized here. Let it get settled. Still need to use the collective to maintain altitude. There, it's dialing in now. That looks good. Let's go ahead and drop a bob-up box. Symbology select down. There's our bob-up box. Still having to use our collective. But my hand is off the cyclic now. I can do up on the force trim to set the pedals. I should be able to take my feet off the pedals and the cyclic. Let it get stable again. So now I have my hands off the cyclic and my feet off the pedal. Still having to use the collective to maintain altitude. So let's go ahead and arm the aircraft. Bring up George. Pause the Hellfires.
Hellfire's up.
Okay. Now let's tell George to look over. There's some tanks out here.
And slaving. Slaving.
So he did, he found some tanks. So now my hands off the cyclic, feet are off the collective. I'm sorry, yeah, right. Hands off the collective, feet are off the pedals. Let's go ahead and bring up the TADs. Zoom in here. Alright, let's select that first tank he's found.
Laser on.
And let's give him consent to fire.
Roger, engaging.
This is all pretty much hands off at this point. I have my hands off the cyclic, off the pedals.
Lasers off. Target destroyed.
Let's go ahead, there should be one more tank out here. Let's have him look again. There's the second tank.
Laser on.
Give him consent to fire.
Roger, engaging. Lasers off.
Good hit.
Target destroyed.
Okay, so you can see this greatly reduces the pilot workload in an out-of-ground effect hover, and makes it a lot easier to manipulate George without putting small inputs in the cyclic and throwing your out-of-ground effect hover off. Remember, you still have to use coordinated flight controls to enter into the out-of-ground effect hover. Reduce your airspeed below 5 knots. Left on the force trim engages the attitude hold. Symbology select down to bring up your bob up box. And so from here all we have to do is lower the nose. We can fly out of our OGE hover. I can depress force trim left. And now we're flying again. So I hope that helps. And we'll see you on the next one.